Welcome back to Ask the Attorney. We're here today with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm in Clarksville. Please keep calling those lines. We've got lots of legal questions to answer for you today. 737 plus 737-7587. And we've got Fred who's been waiting patiently. Hi, Fred.
Hello.
Hello, Fred.
How you doing?
Doing great. Go ahead.
Well, several years ago, I had a stroke, and I went to St. Thomas Hospital, and they told me that I'd had 7 strokes, and they referred me to a doctor there at St. Thomas to take care of me. And he did a complete workup on me and told me not only had I had all these strokes, I had lost 25% of the use of my liver, which is the first time I'd ever heard of that. Well, I continued to go to him for several years, but then he left town, and I was referred to another doctor there at St. Thomas, and I went to him for several years, and I got to where I was having mental problems. I was confused, I couldn't understand, I couldn't remember, and that sort of thing. And I told the doctor, and he says, well, you got depression. So he puts me on 40 milligrams of Prozac, and this was like throwing gasoline on a fire and expected to go out. It made it twice as bad.
Oh, boy.
And I got to where I couldn't understand what was going on, what people were meaning,
Yes.
and all this stuff. And then what happened was I ended up losing about $3 million worth of commercial property that was rental property and our home. And I had to leave Nashville because we didn't have a home. I had a friend down here in Columbia, Tennessee, had a house, a rental house, and they offered it to us free of charge. And I'm still down here. Well, after I went back to the doctor there at St. Thomas for a while, then he wrote me a letter saying he wasn't going to be my doctor anymore for some reason. And so I found a local doctor here in Columbia, a young man that's I told him the same problems I was having mentally. And he sent me to a doctor to have me checked for dementia. And then the doctor said, no, we don't have dementia. Then he had me checked for Alzheimer, and they said, no, we don't have Alzheimer. And at the end of 2012, the last few months of 2012, he started running tests on my liver. And then in January of 13, I had a massive heart attack, and he nearly died. Well, after experiencing what this doctor done, seeing what he done, having all these tests run, I realized the first doctor who's put me on the Prozac, which the doctor here in Columbia had taken me off of that already, experimenting to try to find out why I was having all these mental problems, could not concentrate and focus and everything.
Yes.
It began to sink in that the doctor at St. Thomas had made the wrong diagnosis, and he didn't take the time to run any test to find out if there was any other problems.
And so, Fred, is your question on
$3 million worth of income-producing property as well as my own personal home.
Yeah.
So I think Fred's trying to get to a question about misdiagnosis and medical malpractice.
And we're so sorry. The lesson to learn from your situation is always seek a second opinion. A lot of times, if you should have someone else go with you, and we know that medications have side effects. Not all medications are going to work. Some react differently. And so, yes, and I expect one day there'll probably be a big lawsuit over Prozac. So many people have had it. They prescribe, and it's not just the prescription, but it's the milligram dosage. And so, again, I tell everybody, why don't you got a phone, Google it. If you don't know how to Google, get someone to Google it for you and hear all, because the doctors really don't have time to sit and tell you everything. So what I've learned is we self-educate ourselves. And you ask lots of questions, and I say get a second opinion. That's what I say in medical and legal. Now, do you have a case? Your statute of limitations has probably already ran if you did. But you have to find a doctor that says this doctor deviated from the standard of care when he diagnosed you. If it's a misdiagnosis, you got to have another professional say so, and then you have your claim.
Right. We've got Mary here. Hi, Mary. Mary, are you with us? Maybe it's just that line 7 that we're having trouble with. Okay, let's try Doris. Doris, are you there?
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead, Doris.
Do y'all ever have cases against pharmaceuticals?
Yes. And so do you have a particular drug that you're wanting to ask about?
Yes, Levaquin.
Levaquin. Well, you know, here's what I would do. I would Google that. Many times Google will have the latest information on class action lawsuits against those. And you know, you got to hear this, we need to find out who the manufacturer is, because drug companies file bankruptcy too. If they see that they've got a big problem, then they could do that, or the government would set aside so much funds to handle the claims, and then that would be a good one to try to pursue. If you make a claim, they're going to require you to get your medical records and someone say, as a result of taking this drug, you had this that hurt you. There's got to be some negligence, there's got to be some damages, and then we got to have a deep pocket that can pay those fees.
Yep. All right, keep those calls coming, 737 plus 737 7587, the number at the bottom of your screen. And we've got Maureen here. Hi, Maureen.
Hello.
Hello.
How
Go
can we
ahead,
help
Maureen.
Hello, how are you?
Great, and I'm glad you called.
Yes, I have a probate question. And what has happened is my grandson, which is a grown man now, his father died, and it was two more children. One's a minor, and the other one was grown. And they sold the estate, and everything was supposed to have been divided. When it was time to go to court, my grandson's mother came to court instead of him. He never knew anything about it. And so the judge asked her, was that his biological father? And she said no, but he had signed his birth certificate.
Yes. Well, what you have right there is an intentional misrepresentation to the court. What else you have is, whenever you're involved in a lawsuit, you should go to court yourself. You know, it doesn't take a brain scientist to sit and hear your lawyer argue. You can hear the testimony in court, and when you know someone has made a false statement, you should have your lawyer there prepared to say that is incorrect. And if it's a witness, they can cross-examine them. And, you know, one of the things they say about cross-examination, why it's so powerful, you have a constitutional right to that. Because if a person lies, a skilled lawyer, and there's a difference between a trial skilled lawyer and some other lawyers, but one who is skilled, he can ask the question several different ways. They say you can never say the lie the same way twice. That's what, and they're all the time saying, well, that question's already been asked and answered, objection. And then your lawyer can bow down and say, okay, or your lawyer can be aggressive and say, excuse me, Your Honor, but I'd like to ask this for a specific point. The judge usually, you have a little leadway, Mr. Kenny, and then we're on them. Last week, the judge called me down. It's the first time I've been called down, but I was so fired up in the courtroom at this witness, I was going at it. And he said, Mr. Kenny, don't point at the witness. I said, excuse me, Your Honor, and I apologize. But I did get wound up. And of course, we won the case.
Wow.
But, you know, those things, and I tell my clients many times, you better keep Kevin Kenny fired up. You want to try to get the best of him when we go, because it takes enormous energy to do it. And if you're in one of these kind of low-down moods and they said, objection, you've ruled, then that's it.
Well, that's pretty good. One time in 32 years.
Yeah, I'll say
Not
that.
a bad record.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Mike here. Hi, Mike. Mike, are you with us? All right, we'll try to come back to Mike. I think we've got Rhonda here. Hi, Rhonda.
Hi.
How can we help you tonight?
Yes, I just wanted to ask a question. I'm a grandmother,
Yes, ma'am.
and my daughter-in-law refuses to let me see my grandchildren.
Right. Okay, I would get fired up. If I was a grandmother or grandfather and I had a grandchild, we have this argument every week at the Kennedy Law Firm.
And we get these calls almost every month. That's interesting.
I say this quite often. I say, what do you worked your whole life for? It's for your family. For your family. And that grandchild, you know, if they come back and your children are so ornery, so uncooperative, they don't see the benefit of granddaddies and grandmothers investing in those children, and then again spending their savings so that child can get a car and get a college. They're being very foolish. And if I were the judge, I'm going to try to find a way, short of abuse, I'm going to try to find a way to do it. And so, yes, ma'am, I would definitely tell you to get a lawyer and pursue it. And so for those people that are listening tonight and you've got grandparents that want to get involved, I would urge you to get your grandparents involved. There'd have to be a real strong reason, from my standpoint, that would keep them out.
Right. Got Mary here. Hi, Mary.
Hello. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I am the grandmother of a beautiful 14-year-old granddaughter. My husband sexually molested her in 2005 when she was age 3. He has been in prison since 2006 and remains there. My question to you is, can you tell me if I can go through legal aid to get a divorce at no cost?
Yes, ma'am. Legal aid has helped so many people in your situation. Legal Services of Middle Tennessee, I've been a supporter of them for years and years and years. We know that there's some people that need help in your situation. We're so sorry and we're grieved to hear what you and your daughter had to go through. But no, you're a prime candidate to go and seek their help. And many of those guys are in a network that they have some pro bono lawyers to assist them, even if you didn't fit inside their program. But you're classic. You will fit in the program, ma'am.
Yeah, that's a sad situation there. All right, got Dallas here. Hi, Dallas.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Good.
Answering my phone.
Thank you for calling.
What I have, they were putting in a water line and a sewer line here in Lebanon, Tennessee. And there was a verbal agreement for the guy that was putting it in that he could dump on me the dirt and small stones,
Yes.
providing that he pushed it down.
Yes.
Now, there are 3 witnesses that was done verbal, the policeman, city policeman, and the guy that done the hiring of the man. And I want to know what's my right, because he don't want to push it down.
Right. Excellent. And, you know, I had a piece of property, some guys came and said, we're going to build apartments. We just want to drive through your property. And I already knew that these guys will represent everything to you standing out on the street. And I want to help everybody. But I also knew when they ran across my lines and crushed lines, they're not going to have the money to replace them. So what you've done, and when you deal with real estate, it's called the statute of frauds. It must be in writing to enforce. There are some exceptions, and if it's a lot of money to push this dirt, you can sue that guy. And he can say statute of frauds, and then you bring your 2 witnesses in.
Partial performance or whatever it might be.
Yes, we would get past that with the Kennedy Law Firm. We could advance on that, and I really believe that. Everybody says statute of frauds, that's where you know a little bit of law, but a skilled lawyer says, no, no, no. Amy Rowe's got the exception. I say,
There's
Amy,
an exception to every rule,
there's an
right?
exception to every rule. So there's so many rules. That's why we have to kick those ideas back around. But we can advance that call, sir.
Yes. All right. We've got Joe here. And just a reminder to everyone, we're going to put Kevin Kennedy's information up at the end of the show. But Joe, tell us how we can help you tonight.
Please, I'd like to extend, well, I was talking about cataract surgery on my eyes,
Yes.
losing my eyesight. After 8 years, I contacted the doctor again and asked him would he assist me in putting some hand railings and side railings on my house. He sends me a letter, a certified letter, telling me not to contact his office anymore. Hey, I thought that was awful right there, after taking my eyesight.
Yeah, well, you know, they tell us in the law school, I remember it well, one of the things they try to teach doctors, and both my sons, my oldest son's a doctor, your dad's a doctor, and then my second son's 27, he's a doctor. They say teach them bedside manners. Well, what does that really mean? So many lawsuits could be avoided if you just sat down and talked to the people and told them that we're going to do our very best, and then try to just be fair. Well, that's why we have laws. Every man has in his heart what he knows is a sense of justice and what is fair. And when you rub that the wrong way, and sir, basically when we hear that attitude, it infuriates us.
Yeah.
And if we ever gotten a choice or a chance to play catch up in that jury box, then that lawyer get up there and tell the people just like it is, then they will reach out and touch them in a way with a jury verdict. So I'm so sorry, and I want to teach everyone, you know, treat others as you would want to be treated. And the golden rule, do as others as you would have them doing to you.
Very true. Well, we have more calls coming. Please keep them coming at 737+, and we'll be back after a short break.